Welcome to the end of war.
Alright guys, so this is round one. As you can see, they have a good map layout here. We're gonna see it in a second here on map. I'm utilizing um, Colonel Matthews' view here. They're gonna have a good, they have a very good map control. You can see here already. They're holding that western side. They have two squads up north, up on that, sorry, west side. That's why Boffs was having a lot of trouble. Look at that. They have a decent map control over that center and western side. Not so much on the eastern because they're not very aggressive. And we're gonna start taking advantage of that in a second. And that's what we need to do, identify where the enemy is weakest and take advantage of that. I wanted more pressure from Satchel there in the center. I know you had an MG on that west side watching you, but more pressure. If you're in the center, you're the suicide squad. Boff here is going to struggle a little bit here on this west side. Like I said, they've got two squads up here, and they're being aggressive, something they didn't do on the east side. So congrats to them here. Look at that! Look at that east side. They're just maintaining a defensive line, and it's going to be their downfall because they cannot cover that wheat field. So you can see here on that eastern side that we're going to be trying to flank. We're going to try and flank here on this eastern side because we know the enemy is weakest here because there's not a lot of pressure on our defensive front line. Me and Gardhard have a very good push here with communication. We identified there's a car here by hearing it. I will also show our communication via the video. We know what to do. Guard identifies where the enemy is. We ping it for our MG. MG suppresses it. Guard pushes in, he's listening to him, he tells me Masp on your left, I peek, eliminate, turn to whatever another threat is, eliminate the other guys. I don't see anyone else I'm gonna be pushing in, but Guard is covering me. This is a very good example of like fire and maneuver, fire and covering. And this is something me and Guard did very well throughout the entire game, so congrats to him. So this right here was my main goal. It was to be behind them, allow them to be scared, to be like, oh, they're behind us. I've placed the OP up on their back line. I know they have an OP there. I'm not gonna engage it. I'm just gonna go flank and trying to eliminate whatever they have on that western side. I'm gonna end up eliminating one OP. It's gonna force one squad to come back, but it won't be enough to help buff push that west side. My main objective was to engulf them all the way, clear the OPs, and then have you guys push down. Yeah, we weren't able to do that. Here, Satchel, once again, you can see that you didn't have a lot of enemies there. You had MGs in the west, yes, but you have to eliminate those MGs. Utilize smoke, utilize the MG shoots at you, utilize bait. They shoot at a guy, identify where they're shooting at you, return fire. Make sure he keeps his head down, or you take his head. This here is Syria is going to be another example that I would like to show here on this eastern side. The enemy is putting very good pressure on us. ROP is where guard is. It just went down because they're putting very good pressure. Congrats on their part. But myself as a squad leader, and this goes out to every squad leader, you need to identify if you're going to lose the fight. I knew we were going to lose that fight, so I made the decision to sacrifice them, go run away, reposition the OP, and instead of making them go back and redeploy the garrison, make us lose the eastern, I placed the OP here. I played passively as a squad leader, and I was aware of what we had to do. And this is something that our squad leaders also need to do, and they do it, but they need to do more often. Understand that a good OP doesn't need to be an aggressive OP, it needs to be a smart OP. I think we failed here on this because we didn't have constant pressure on that center. And I've talked this about Satchel. We needed a suicide squad there. Suicide squad on that center would have made the entire difference. Okay. Um, the enemy had a good front line. The map is axis. The map itself favors the axis side for sure. but where is the center pressure there? Like you see Satchel, you're way too on the defensive front line, too much on the defensive. And this way, you're allowing the enemy to the enemy on the center and the enemy on the east to focus on entirely on my squad. So here at the end, we end up switching. Satchel's gonna go east, and I'm gonna go center. And you're gonna see that we're gonna spread out. Look at that. That's gonna be myself and guard going for that trench line, placing the OP. Once we get to the OP, smoke, 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 and then push from trench to trench. If you have an MG, identify where the MG is, return fire. Have a good pressure coming in from the center. The enemy has to focus on the center, and yes, we do have friendlies, MGs in the west. That also makes a difference for sure. But with the pressure in the center and pressure from the east, we are slowly going to start pinching inside the point. West side collapses because the enemy has to react to either the center or the west, and also the west side squad did a good push there, control the houses. Something we did here as well, we left the entire east alone. That east side is absolutely alone. If I switch with you, Satchel, you need to ensure that that side gets controlled. If you're on the east side, it is your responsibility to have map control on that east side. You switch sector, it is your responsibility to have control of that sector. But honestly, I think we're almost at the end here, so we were just collapsing, I believe.